Hi, Lori.
Hey there. Let me see, my pen lists are coming back.
Everyone's internet is a little bit intermittent.
Yeah, we got kicked out of YouTube from the Zoom, so I had to restart it. It seems to be doing well now, so we're already streaming.
President Chima, in case you haven't done so, recently, you may want to refresh your board docs just so you get the most, make sure the agenda is the right version.
I also wanted to let the board and superintendent know that we had a little glitch on the streaming YouTube. It's working now, but we had to stop it and restart it. But it looks like people are back in watching. I just wanted to let you know.
Okay, looks all right now. So we can start. It's it's a 6:02. The board will now convene open session and report out from closed session. The Board of Education meeting for Tuesday, April 2021 will be conducted completely online. Executive Order N-29-20 supersedes prior instructions and prohibits a gathering space even if social distancing guidelines are followed. Live streaming on YouTube will begin now for the open session of the Board of Education meeting. The URL for the YouTube live streaming may be found on New Haven Unified School District Board of Education webpage just before the meeting begins at 6 p.m. If you would like to provide public comment for this meeting, you may do so by utilizing the raise your hand option in Zoom. Or if you are calling in by phone, please press *9 and wait to be called on. Because of the COVID-19 shelter-in-place order, the district has provided the opportunity for community members to address the board by email at publiccomment@nsusd.k12.ca.us. The deadline to submit requests was today at 2 p.m. And I believe no emails were received. Additionally, we want to remind the public that we will not be responding to the comments or questions posed by those making public comments this evening. Relative to closed session, item number 3.1, 3.4, and 3.5, there was no action taken by the board. Regarding item number 3.2, the board in closed session by a unanimous vote, with the trustee Nishihira being absent at the board, approved a settlement agreement between the district and a student's family. Regarding item number 3.3, public employment appointment, the board in closed session by a unanimous vote approved the appointments of Yazid Vidatala as Director of Food and Nutrition Services. Additionally, the board by a unanimous vote approved the appointment of Dana Chavez as high school principal at Conley Carabello High School. I believe that Ms. Chavez and Ms. Vidatala are here this evening. Oh yeah, I see Dana, okay. May I have a roll call, please?
Canlis.
Here.
Gonzalez.
Trustee Gonzalez, I don't see him actually. Present.
Okay. Nishihira.
Here.
Swen Mallory.
Here.
Chima.
Here. Agenda item number 5.2, may I have a motion and a second to approve tonight's agenda?
So moved. Second.
Point of order.
Okay.
Just a clarification. Did we want to have our new staff say a few words, and does the board want to welcome them to the district?
Let's see if
Yeah, that we would
Welcome.
normally do that. Coming right out of closed session, right when they're both Ms. Chavez and Mr. Wittadal are here. So it would be appropriate to have them to introduce them to everybody now.
sure, go ahead. Ms. Dana Chavez, welcome.
Good evening. Thank you so much, Board of Trustees. I just wanted to introduce myself, Dana Chavez, and extend my gratitude for this appointment. And thank you so much and having the confidence in me. I'm excited to get started and really look forward to being part of the team. Thank you so very much.
You're very welcome. Thank you. And Ms. Vidatala, can you please also help us to pronounce your first and last name?
Sure, I'll make it very easy. It's just Yaz Widatala.
Oh, okay. Vidatala.
Good
Thank
evening, board
Welcome.
members. Thank you for the vote and allowing me to join the district as well. Yeah, I look forward to starting in June.
Thank
Welcome
you.
to
We
both
also
of you.
welcome to both.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Welcome to the district.
Thank you.
And thank you, Trustee Nishihira, for reminding me. Thank you. So we were on the, you're welcome to stay, or, it's up to you. See how the board works, yeah.
You'll have many more opportunities.
Yes, thank you. Next agenda item is 5.2. So approval of tonight's agenda. May I have a motion and a second to approve tonight's agenda?
I think we did that already.
Yeah,
No, we
thank
did
you.
not. We did not. That's when Trustee Nishihira intervened.
Okay, ready? Canlis.
Yeah. Aye.
Gonzalez.
He's
Nishihira.
still trying to get in.
Oh, okay.
Aye.
Nishihira.
Aye.
Swen Mallory.
Aye.
Chima.
Aye. So agenda item number 6.1. Are there any community members that wish to address the board on topics that are not on the agenda? Please raise your hands. I will call on everyone one at a time. I will unmute you when it's your turn to speak. Please keep your comments to 2 minutes. I see Michael Gonzalez, one hand. Okay, let's start. Michael Gardner. Start, please.
Hello, board. Thank you for hearing me. My name is Michael Gardner. I'm a teacher here at Logan. You know me. I'm talking again about the budget. I know there won't be a presentation, but I just want to encourage the board to make sure that you're using the money in a way that builds our school district into a more desirable location. We have great goals and it provides us some focus, but I just want to remind everyone that it is the classroom that parents send their students to. And so we need to make sure that the funding is going straight to the classroom because that's what's going to attract parents and also retain the parents and families that are currently in our school district. I know that won't be on the agenda today, but I just asking you to always keep that on your radar that the budget is primarily for the classroom. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for your comments. I don't see any other hand up. So moving on to the next agenda item, 7.1. Are there any community members that wish to address the board on topics that are on the agenda? Please raise your hand. I will call on everyone one at a time. I will unmute you when it's your turn to speak. Please keep your comments to 2 minutes. I see one hand up. Okay. NHTA President Joe Q. Angeles. Go ahead, please.
Good evening, President Chima, trustees, Superintendent Thompson, and members of the New Age District. Welcome to the new administrators to the district. Appreciate your coming to our place, as well as teachers, students, and folks in the gallery at home. There's 2 areas I just want to comment on that are on board agenda. Of course, I know in closed sessions, you have started to talk about the consideration for bargaining. As we know, we're back on track to consider that. As we know, we are in a contract negotiation year. And I did want to just mention the thing about that consideration, like Michael Gardner mentioned, one of the concerns is understanding the budget and budget implications. And I think one of the things I really want to express is the fact that we know the biggest conversation is how to use the quote, stated unrestricted funds. And we know from our unfortunate past history that we've had difficulties in kind of looking at that in a more open and fair manner in conversation to apply the use of those funds that will result in the value of staff as well as the expertise of those staff members. So we're hoping that that new look on that funding area can help with a better conversation, a more mutual conversation for a contract and settle it as soon as possible. As we know, we don't want to carry on the conversation. It has been a difficult year. So hopefully with this new kind of conversation that we have with the district, we can all consider how to make sure history doesn't repeat itself. So I appreciate that. And then my other comment was for, of course, coming up later is a proposed resolution on the anti-Asian hate and violence resolution. We do want to thank you for that. As you know, the NHTA has just passed their own resolution denouncing that issue in the community as well as across the nation. So we're looking forward to us joining again in understanding and involvement in creating an awareness and change in those areas that are most impacting both our community, our students, and the rest of the world. So again, thank you for your time.
Thank you, Mr. Angeles, for your comments. And I do see another hand, Mr. Michael Gardner. Go ahead, please.
Hi, it's me again. Kind of what we're talking about before with budget, but bargaining is where a lot of it's going to be going. And I just want to let the new members know that you're, in case you didn't know, you're walking in after a very traumatic strike. That was hard for the community and for the teachers, and also I'm sure for the administration as well. And so you have an opportunity to set the tone of how do we recover from that time. And just be aware that this is a time where people who were involved before get to redefine themselves, and people who weren't involved get to set the new tone. So I look forward to a fair and reasonable resolution, and hopefully one without any acrimony, because you all know me. It's like everyone's my friend, and I always want to see the best in everyone. And I hope that we can do that in this bargaining session. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Gardner, for your comments. Next is agenda item number 8.1. proposal and action for the reorganization of the Union City Family Center and People Services 2021. Mr. Scott Pisani will present us the information, and then at the same time, after we get the information, we will have our action taken. So before Mr. Pisani starts his presentation, I would like to have a motion and a second to approve the reorganization of the Union City Family Center and People Services beginning in 2021 and 22. So just the motion, and then in the discussion, there will be presentation, and we can have ask question and comments and anything. May I have a motion and a second?
So moved.
You are muted, Trustee Canlis.
Second, sorry.
Second, okay. Scott, your turn.
Good evening, President Chima, members of the board, and Superintendent Thompson. Tonight we'll be presenting some information after several months of analysis with a plan for reorganization around the Union City Family Center and our Pupil Services Department. And with that, I'd like to introduce Marcus Lamb, Director of Pupil Services, who will be providing the information to all of you this evening.
Thank you, Mr. Pisani. Good evening, Board President Chima, School Board Trustees, and Superintendent Thompson. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen and get started with our proposal. So as you know, the Executive Director of Union City Family Center, Nancy George, will be retiring at the end of June, and she leaves New Haven with a program that is foundational to our community. While it's impossible to replace Nancy, we are proposing a reorganization plan that will allow us to maintain a high level of support for our students, families, and community while minimizing the impact of her retirement. This proposal would create a marriage between the Union City Family Center and Pupil Services, thus creating a more aligned structure for us to support our students and families. This flowchart is an illustration of how the merger of the Family Center and Pupil Services would look. Those positions that are bolded are positions that are being affected in this reorganization. The oversight of the Family Center and Pupil Services would be the responsibility of the Director of Pupil Services, who would be retitled as the Director of Student and Family Services. This would currently be my role. The Executive Director position would be eliminated. The current program manager of the Union City Family Center, Jennifer Hawkins, would be promoted to being the Union City Family Center coordinator and would provide consistency and leadership to the Family Center during this transition. In addition, we would create a new Family Center program specialist to take on some of the responsibilities in the programming at the Family Center. As my role shifts to include the oversight of the Family Center, a new coordinator of Pupil Services would be hired to oversee duties in support of Pupil Services. And with the addition of the new coordinator position, the Family Center and Pupil Services would receive an additional 0.25 FTE of a Staff Secretary 3 position. When you think about how to minimize the impact of the elimination of the Executive Director position and shifting oversight of the Family Center to the Director of Student and Family Services, we need to look at the different responsibilities of the roles. And so these are the current responsibilities of the Executive Director of the Union City Family Center and the Director of Pupil Services. In reorganizing the Executive Director position, we allocate the responsibilities between the Union City Family Center Coordinator and the Director of Student and Family Services position. With the director position taking on responsibilities in oversight of the Family Center, this would require a shift of pupil service responsibilities to another person, thus the need for a coordinator of pupil services, who will oversee attendance, discipline, school safety, supporting students with greater needs. And this person will also have a big role in working with health and wellness and our MTSS. So in essence, the Director of Student and Family Services will now oversee and be involved in the district development of the MTSS as a structure to support the Union City Family Center, Pupil Services, centralized enrollment, maintaining community relationships, and the alignment of schools, families, community, and the student. On the left, the Union City Family Center Coordinator would supervise the operations and services provided by the Family Center, would oversee family engagement, the family service assistance and the outreach facilitator, community partnerships, and student support programming, which includes migrant education, Kids Zone, 21st Century Community Learning Communities, and neighborhoods ready for schools. And on the right, you can see that the coordinator of pupil services, again, would oversee attendance, health and wellness, discipline, positive school climate and culture and safety, and would also support student groups with greater needs, which include our foster youth, homeless youth, unaccompanied immigrant youth, expelled students, and students transitioning from the youth justice system. Again, with the new responsibilities taken on by the Union City Family Center Coordinator, this left us with the need to provide support for the other duties that used to be a part of the coordinator's position. So a new program specialist position would take on many of these responsibilities, and those responsibilities are indicated by the asterisks, and this role would be completely grant funded. Again, as we mentioned before, to support the new coordinator, we would increase the staff secretary position by 0.25 FTE, and the outreach facilitator position would be reduced by 0.5 FTE. And this is due to the restructuring of the migrant education program services, which reduced the amount of support New Haven needed to provide. And so, and it also, and we're also shifting how we want to provide family engagement to be more site-based rather than district-wide. And to sum up the benefits of this reorganization proposal, the scope of work and impact on the New Haven community will be minimized with the retirement of the executive director, Nancy George. This would create a marriage of pupil services and family center to provide aligned and coordinated supports for our students and families, from infant, toddler, school readiness to enrollment to graduation. We'd be able to do deeper work and support our families more deeply. We would be aligning our systems of support across New Haven and not working in silos. And this would actually save at approximately $80,000 towards our general funds. So if the board approve this proposal for the reorganization of the Union City Family Center and Pupil Services, you'd be approving the addition of a coordinator of pupil service position, the promotion of our Union City Family Center program manager to a coordinator. You'd be approving the addition of a program specialist position, the increase of our staff secretary 3 position, and the title change from Director of Pupil Services to Director of Student and Family Services. The approval would also eliminate the executive director position and reduce the outreach facilitator position by 0.50 FTE. So that's the presentation. I thank you for your time, and are there any questions?
Thank you, Mr. Lang, for presenting us very comprehensive information. So board members, if you have any comment or question regarding this item, then please raise your hands now. I see Trustee Nishihira, your hand is up. Go ahead, please.
Yeah, no questions. It seems like everything has been thought through in terms of, picking up all of the responsibilities and making sure that nothing falls on the floor. That looks like it was pretty comprehensive in that plan. But more importantly, I would love to just take just a few minutes to thank. I see Nancy as actually here in the audience. I just want to thank her for all of the fantastic work that she has done in the community. She's actually set the bar, and I just want to thank her for all of the hard work, because she was able to create something that's affected so many of our students and our families. So I just wanted to take a few minutes to thank her for that and wish her a happy retirement.
So second in line is trustee Melissa Schwen Mallory. Go ahead, please.
Yes, thank you. No questions. This was really well thought out. I also want to thank Nancy George for all of her service to our community. And she's done so much and impacted our families so greatly that she will be greatly, greatly missed. And as you can see, it takes several people to replace Nancy George. So have a happy retirement. You will definitely be missed in Union City.
Thank you. Thank you again. Nancy, I would like to say same words, you know, what started with the Kid Zone thing came out as a family center. So only regret I have that it does not have the name New Haven Family Center. It's at Union City. But it's okay. Thank you so much for having the vision to provide those services to our community and to our students. Thank you. I appreciate that. Happy retirement. So now we already have the motion and a second on the table. And since there are no comments or questions anymore, may I have a roll call, please?
Canlis,
Aye.
Gonzalez,
Aye.
Nishihira,
Aye.
Swen Mallory,
Aye.
Chima.
Aye. Thank you. So next is agenda item number 8.2, proposal and action for the New Haven Unified School District Mental and Emotional Health Support 2021 to 2022. Mr. Scott Pizzani will give us the presentation. I would ask for the motion and a second, maybe after his presentation this time. Mr. Pizzani.
Hi, good evening once again. This item 8.2 on the agenda is being presented to all of you for your consideration. Over the last several months, we've had several stakeholder engagement meetings, as well as having administered our district's annual student, parent, and staff survey. I'm happy to report to all of you that although we are still in a distance learning environment, we actually had more responses to our annual district survey than we've ever had since we began surveys as a part of our Race to the Top initiative several years ago. And what's most gratifying in our outreach is that most of the responses actually came from New Haven students. And so based upon that and the analysis of that data, we definitely know that as we potentially transition back to in-person instruction as we look forward to the 21-22 school year, we absolutely know, based on the feedback from our stakeholders, that providing mental health and emotional support for our students and families is an absolute priority. And so with that, I'd like to turn it over to both, again, Marcus Lamb, as well as Sherry Benefield, to be able to share information related to our proposal for moving forward in providing for mental and emotional health for our students and families for the 21-22 school year. So with that, I'll turn it over to Mr. Lamb.
Okay. Good evening again, Board President Chima, School Board Trustees, and Superintendent Thompson. As we all know, over the past 13 months, because of the COVID pandemic, the New Haven community endured a range of experiences that affected their mental and emotional health. This effect on our students will be noticed and evident upon their return to school in August. While we won't know the long-term effects, we do know that next year is just the start of our need to support the mental and emotional health of our students and staff, if we hope to help our students regain a sense of safety, stability, and normalcy as learners. New Haven's initial response to supporting our students will be crucial and will set the tone for not just the 2021-2022 school year, but also the years that follow. And all New Haven staff will be essential in supporting our students. We need to ensure that all students return to school feeling safe, feeling heard, and knowing that the adults in New Haven recognize the mental and emotional stress the pandemic put on our students. Tonight, the coordinator of personnel, Sherry Benefeld, and I bring to you a proposal of mental and emotional health supports for next school year. Unfortunately, there is no one intervention, no one person, no one program that can address all the needs of our students and staff, the needs that our students and staff will return to school with. Rather, we need to have layers of support with different levels of intensity and purpose, and a staff that is prepared and supported as they in turn support their students. We are proposing a variety of supports that will provide each of our school sites additional staffing to focus on working with students who have greater needs as it relates to mental and emotional health, a safe space at each school site for students to seek mental and emotional refuge and guidance, the development of whole school structures that address the mental and emotional well-being of our students, professional development for our staff to empower them to support each of their students and their needs, and ongoing mental and emotional health support for our staff to address their needs so they are prepared to do the same for their students. All of our proposed mental and emotional health supports are in alignment with New Haven's district goal number 2, equity, access, and achievement, and goal 3, effective employee relations and collaborative district culture. At each of our middle schools and high school sites, we are proposing for the opening of a student health and wellness center that will be primarily supervised by a behavioral health worker. This will be a place for students to go should they need to find some sanctuary from their daily routines and seek guidance, support, and assistance to address their mental and emotional health needs. The Student Health and Wellness Center would be primarily supervised by this behavioral health worker, but also supported by administration, counselors, and other mental and emotional support staff at the school site. The behavioral health worker is a new position for the 2021-2022 school year and would be filled by a person with credentials and experience in mental health, social work, counseling, or school psychology. The behavioral health worker would provide an additional staff at each secondary site to counsel students with the greatest mental and emotional needs, meet with small groups of students with common struggles, and support students who just drop into the center. The behavioral health worker would also support the school site in their development of their school culture and climate as it relates to mental health and social and emotional learning, and also support the development of the school site's schools structures for identifying and supporting students with mental and emotional health needs. This proposal would allocate one full-time behavioral health worker each at Cesar Chavez and Leon Veracruz middle schools, a half-time behavioral health worker at Conley Caravello High School, and 1.5 behavioral health workers at James Logan High School. In the elementary schools, the mental and emotional health and wellness of students is often supported by the classroom teacher. This is the most appropriate model for supporting elementary students because these are the staff who build the strongest relationships with them at the school. With the anticipated increase of mental and emotional support needs, classroom teachers will also need some support. So for the 2021-2022 school year, we are proposing that every elementary school site will have a student health and wellness room as a place for students to be supported by a health and wellness teacher to address immediate mental and emotional support needs. The student health and wellness room will be a place for students to go during their recesses and lunches to participate in activities that support their social and emotional development. In addition to supervising the health and wellness room, this health and wellness teacher would provide individual support for students with greater needs. The health and wellness teacher would also run small groups with students who have similar needs to teach strategies and coping skills. The health and wellness teacher would also support the site with the implementation of whole school initiatives around mental health and social and emotional learning, which includes helping to lead the implementation of a social and emotional learning curriculum. The health and wellness teacher at each site will have the opportunity to collaborate with each of the other teachers at the other sites and 2 behavioral health workers. The elementary behavioral health workers, who are the same position as created in the secondary, would provide training and support to the health and wellness teachers as it relates to supporting their students around mental and social and emotional skills and strategies. This elementary level behavioral health worker would also provide one-on-one support to students with even greater mental health and emotional needs, needs that the teacher cannot support. Support the development and implementation of the cost process at each site, and also lead small groups to address specific needs for students. To best support all students in New Haven, school sites need to have school structures that support the mental and social and emotional development of its students. This is especially important during the 2021-2022 school year, when students return with a greater amount of trauma. This spring, we will convene a stakeholder group of staff in elementary and secondary school levels to review social and emotional learning curriculum, to make a recommendation for one to be purchased and implemented during the 2021-2022 school year. With the impact of the year and with the impact of the past year and a half on our students, how our schools support their social and emotional development will be important. Thus, an aligned curriculum across the district and grade levels is important. We currently implement Komochis in the transitional kindergarten, first grades, and elementary special day classes. And Komochis is a program that teaches our students the foundational skill of identifying and articulating their feelings. So we need to find and implement a social emotional learning program for grades 2 through 12 that build on this. At the secondary level, all staff will also participate in the Living Works suicide prevention training, which is a personal and interactive training that will prepare our staff to identify signs of mental health struggles and it will help our staff become more comfortable in talking with those who they identify as struggling and connect them with support. The Alameda County of Education provided New Haven a number of these training licenses this past school year, and our secondary administrators, counselors, and family service assistants participated in this training and spoke highly of its effectiveness as a training. Education code requires an annual suicide prevention training for staff who support students in grades 7 through 12, and this training would actually support this, fulfill this requirement. I would like to now turn it over to Coordinator of Personnel, Sherry Benefeld, to talk about health and wellness for staff.
Welcome, Sherry. We cannot hear you.
Sorry,
Oh, no.
sorry
Yeah.
about that.
You were muted.
Thank you, everybody. So yes, thank you, Marcus, for introducing. I'm the coordinator of personnel, working with Derek McNamara and the team there. And in our meetings this year, in preparing to come back to school, you know, Marcus and I have been working together because we know in order to support our students, we also want to support our staff. And so under goal 3, effective employee relations and a collaborative school culture, and in unity with our labor partners, we recognize the need to support our staff members as well as the students and their families. The following proposals that are listed here on the PowerPoint will help us navigate this time when we're all re-entering school after shared experience with the global pandemic. The 3 that are listed here, the loss and grief professional development, is going to be presented by Tiffany Papageorge. Tiffany Papageorge will really focus and help us to acknowledge the loss and grief that we've all felt at different levels and give our staff tools for resiliency. As staff members are going to be supporting the students, they too might be struggling with their own issues of loss around the pandemic. And this presentation that she'll do for all staff and will kind of help in that area. She has worked with a couple of our school sites already, and it's been very well received. And the staff have really felt like it has been very supportive. The other listing here is Inner Flourishing Mindfulness Professional Development. Nina Barreto is a former New Haven teacher who's gone on and works with Mindful Schools. And she's been very focused on developing curriculum around mindfulness. She's also worked in our schools around this topic. And mindfulness is research-based and a very effective practice for taking care of ourselves as we care for others. And she's going to be focusing on welcoming people to a mindfulness. She's going to do a presentation for all staff for an hour to help everybody kind of understand mindfulness and what it can bring. For those that are interested, they can sign up for an additional 6 weeks of mindfulness practice with Nina. And with her proposal, she also wants to work, whenever you work with people around these kind of topics, some people are very interested in continuing the work. And we're hoping at every school site to have people that are willing to continue after this year. So Nina will be coaching those people and providing additional training for all of those that want to continue the work at their school sites. And the last thing listed here is, this was a gift to New Haven. Keenan is our insurance company, and they have included us in an employee assistance program offer for the next year. This is going to be provided for us and our staff members, and it will provide staff with a variety of different things that they can access. There is short-term counseling for people who need it. There is digital behavioral support, life management systems and services will be provided, a lot of online resources, a positivity center, and additional resources for training and also management support. So we are really hoping that, and we're going to be working hard with these three different things that we're bringing in to develop a good and supportive environment for our staff members. And I'm happy to take questions, but I don't know.
Thank you. Thank you both, Mr. Lamb and
we still have a little bit more,
Miss. You have some more?
Yeah, just a couple more slides.
Sure. Keep going.
So thank you, Ms. Benefeld. And just a couple of more parts to this proposal. And so one of them is the maintenance of our social worker position. And so next year, our district social worker will be heavily relied upon for the support of the mental and emotional health structures and initiatives in New Haven. And so the role of the district social worker really focused on developing the multi-tiered systems of support as they relate to mental and emotional health. Our social worker will help oversee the behavioral health workers and the health and wellness teachers in their direct support of students. She would guide administration and their support staff in implementing and sustaining a variety of tiers of mental and emotional health interventions, and also work to align practices and procedures for assessing students with mental health needs and making referrals to our community mental health partners. And of course, our New Haven counselors will also be heavily relied upon because to be a resource for our students seeking mental and emotional health support. Throughout the pandemic and during distance learning, a common need expressed by our students was that to connect with their teachers and counselors. And so as we return in person, we expect this need to continue, and we need to maintain our student to counselor ratios being lower than the contractual commitment. And so that would mean we would maintain all the current number of counselors we have. Using our current enrollment numbers, our ratio in middle school is 366 students to 1 counselor. And that's compared to the contractual commitment of 550 students to 1. And at the high school level, our current ratio is 377 students to 1 counselor compared to the contractual commitment of 450 students to 1 counselor. And so New Haven board members, if you approve this mental and emotional health proposal tonight, it would mean that all our school sites would have additional staff focused on mental and emotional needs. Students would have a place to go for support. All our district's staff receive opportunities to address their own mental and emotional health needs. New Haven develops systems and structures for supporting students and staff. Teachers are supported to address the daily needs of their students in this post-pandemic period. And we maintain our social worker and the counselor ratios for the next school year. Thank you for your time. And if you have questions, Ms. Benefeld and I are here to answer.
Thank you, staff, for your wonderful presentations and proposals, given the situation all of us we are in. Thank you for bringing this proposal to us. So I already see the hands up from, let me see who is first. Trustee Lance Nishira, you are first, and then Trustee Linda Canlis after that.
Okay, couple of things. First of all, thank you so much for putting this together. My understanding, can you just confirm for me that we are using one-time money that's targeted for this type of post-COVID, I guess a post-COVID response? I just want to confirm that this is one-time money that we're using for this program. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Okay. With that being said, I'd like to state for the record that the services that are outlined in this proposal are funded by one-time monies, and that once those monies are no longer there, the expectation is that these services will sunset or will likely sunset. And when the services sunset, it should be emphasized that services are not being cut, but they ended when they were intended to end. I don't want there to be in the future, maybe in years 3 and 4, that this is positioned as being budget cuts to mental health services. I just want that clarified. So can we confirm that that is the case? Okay.
Yes, in the planning of this, that was our intention.
Perfect. Thank you so much for confirming that. Next is we've got the ratios of 366 and 377 to 1, which exceed our contractual obligations. What are they relative to industry standards across other educational systems?
I believe I had the numbers on I had the numbers, but I know it is, I believe it's lower than California.
Okay.
The average, but I can look that up for you.
I can address that, Trustee Nishihara. The California average is, as of last year, was 650 to 1.
Wow. Okay. Okay. Great. So that gives us kind of a good idea on how much we prioritize this. So thank you so much for those clarifications. Those are all the comments that I had. I will be asking in our request to staff a little bit of a primer on MTSS, but I'll wait for a little later in the agenda to do that. So thank you. That's all I have.
Thank you.
Point of order, President Chima.
Sure.
If I may.
Mm-hmm.
I thought you said you wanted a motion in a second, and then we get into discussion.
That was in the last item. So this time I just stuck with the agenda the way they have proposed it. So thank you. So I do see Trustee Linda Canlis' hand next, please.
Yeah, actually, Trustee Nishihara did address my clarification question, which is the use of the one-time funds and implementing this. First of all, thank you for doing this, because I think this is greatly needed, and it's very important that we address the mental and emotional health of our students and staff as we come from this very challenging year. I do have a question. If we know this is one-time funds. Will there be some kind of general funds in the future that could be partially funding this to continue where we left off? I know you've been, for example, at Pioneer School. I know mindfulness has been going on there for a while. So I'm assuming that that could be a continuation and just bringing other people aboard. So will there be possible funds to continue part of it? And I know Mr. Nishihara's point that we are not going to be talking about cutting things because it's not meant for an ongoing thing. But I'm just wondering, will there be something later on to even continue partial part of this?
I can address that, President.
Okay, go ahead, Dr. Thompson.
Okay, well, yeah, and that's a problem. As you've heard me say before, we don't receive any money for mental health services that goes towards general education purposes. We don't. And so if we chose to fund, like you know, and I've said this several times, the hope is that a year from now we're having a conversation about this and we think back and we go, wow, we really didn't need all of these services. That would be great. I have a feeling the reverse is going to be true, where we're going to be here and we're going to be talking next year about, can we retain any of these services? In 22, 23, it's going to come at the cost of something else. Since we don't have a lot of ongoing money that we can devote for these services. So we'd have to cut something to add something, more likely than not. But who knows? I mean, next year is next year. The economy is supposed to be good. We might have more money. Maybe the state will step up and give us some more money. But as it stands now, we don't have anything allocated out of non-one-time money for these services.
Understood. I just want to add that I have observed the mindfulness strategies being implemented at Pioneer a few years ago. And I see them as a proactive type of curriculum, so that it's to me, it's always better to be proactive versus reactive, so that we spend lesser time and money and frustration when we try to look ahead. And so I guess I'm advocating, if at any point when we don't have money, to make this as priority. And then as far as the PDs that you mentioned, perhaps I should attend the loss and grief as well. That might be helpful for me. Thank you for your proposal, because I think this is so much, so important to provide for our students and our staff.
Thank you, Trustee Callis, for your comments. Next in line is Trustee Melissa Chan-Mallory. Go ahead, please.
Thank you. So first of all, thank you very much for all the time you put into this proposal, and it's obviously well thought out. I'm very glad that we are considering our staff as well, helping them transition back to in school teaching. And you can't pour from an empty cup. So our staff and our teachers definitely will need these services as well. And I'm very glad they're included in that. I do hear that this is one-time money. Like Member Canlas, I hope that we can come up with some resources moving forward to continue to support our students. Maybe we can reassess, towards the mid to end of next year, and see how these programs are working, and to see if we can come up with ways to continue as needed. Maybe we can resurvey our students and see how things are going. So I would look forward to having that in our plan, having a reassessment.
Thank you, Trustee Melissa Chan-Mallory, for your comments. And it's good to see Ms. Benefield in this session again after a long time. Thank you for the proposal. And it seems like from the comments of the board members that I think we need to include some kind of transition plan, how we will transition after 1 year after we spend this money. I know money is coming through the AB 86 from the legislature. Maybe as board members, we can advocate for that money to continue in the next years, That will be a good option. Thank you again. So I don't see any more questions. May I have a motion and a second to approve this agenda item?
So move.
Second.
A roll call, please.
Canlis,
Aye.
Gonzalez,
Aye.
Nishihira,
Aye.
Swen Mallory,
Aye.
Chima.
Aye. Thank you. Agenda item number 9.1. We have a report from the Marcus Lamb about Williams complaint.
Paisani.
Yeah.
Mr. Paisani.
Yes, good evening. Again, item 9.1 speaks to the quarterly report on the William uniform complaints. And you can see for the last quarter, the total complaints in the 3 different categories or subject areas being textbooks and instructional materials, teacher vacancies and misassignments, and facilities conditions.
And I like the new format from the Alameda County Office of Education. So, okay. This is just information item, so no action. Is there any comment or question from any of the board members? No, I don't see any. Next is the information item governance update. Now, I would like my fellow board members to have some discussion where we want to go from our governance session. We have all the report from our facilitator at Steve Ladd's. If you can go to the next steps in this report. Are you there?
Is Dr. Thompson presenting first?
I don't know if you'd like me to talk or.
If you can please just refresh the memories of the board members so that we need to finish this work after we had the governance session.
Yeah, and so I have some recommendations. That we have the Steve Ladd report is there and it outlines, chunks of work that we didn't quite get through. We were making some really good progress on working towards things, and the items, if you look at them, fall within some items that I think the board needs to work on directly in terms of, for example, communicating with constituents and all of that. And then there are also some fairly mechanical, more on the nuts and bolts sides of things, such as visiting schools, policy review, things like that. So my recommendation is that we schedule a time where we can have a study session to review this in more detail, perhaps given where we're at now, and that we don't have any board meetings scheduled in July, perhaps in July at the or at the end of June, where we can get together and have and sit down and work through it together without a facilitator. My recommendation is at that point in time, I come to you with templates similar to the template I've developed for the appointment of management employees for some of those mechanical nuts and bolts types of activities. And then we can devote the time, the board can spend your time either fine tuning those or discussing some of the other chunkier areas that are still outstanding for governance. I know that there's been interest at the policy level, for example, also creating a policy committee where 2 board members, it would be an ad hoc board committee where we would have 2 board members kind of instead of maybe the first reading that we send to the board, have them vetted at that level with staff, and then the policy committee would make a recommendation to the board. So that is something I would recommend as well. So for tonight, what I suggest is the board have a discussion about, do you want to have another study session without a facilitator where we can just talk? Do you want to have another one with a facilitator? Would you like me to provide templates for some of those nuts and bolts areas? And then separately, would you like to have a policy committee? It's not a problem for me, but it is a commitment of your time. So those I think are the 4 areas that we would want to look at.
Yes, to all the above.
Thank you. I do see Trustee Michael Gonzalez's hand. Go ahead, please share your thoughts.
Yeah, instead of getting someone from the California School Board Association, we can get a past school board member. We can get trustees from other areas to help out to facilitate I don't think we need to go there, and we can just save our money. But there are 3 things I'd like to add to either this agenda or this discussion right now, or if I can present it the next time. Okay, we already talked about our policy committee. I also would like to add on there to help us out, having a vice president for our board. We're one of the few that doesn't have that. And I can give a lot of rationale why we should do that. And then also, we already have policy on it right now, which says that the president and superintendent, when they make their agenda, they're able to have another trustee present there. I recommend that we have a second a rotating trustee every month. For example, Gonzalez is going to go the month of May just to be present, and I got to work around the superintendent's schedule and President Chima's schedule too. So just to be present, just to have eyes to know what's going on there. Everybody get an opportunity to see the process play out. So those are my recommendations.
Thank you, Trustee Gonzalez. Actually, you have read my mind. I was going to say those 2 things. Thank you. Next, Trustee Linda Canlis, please, your turn to speak.
Yeah. I would like to have all the 4 proposals from Dr. Thompson. And just so you know, Trustee Gonzalez, when I was president, I did take and invite people to come with me when I did agenda setting, and we did on a rotational basis. So that is actually a great way of training people, hands-on training people. So my goal is to create leaders so that I don't have to do all the, no, just kidding. But it is a good idea to let other people understand how things work by being there. So I really support that because I've done that in the past. Thank you.
Thank you. And next is Trustee Melissa Mallory.
Yes, thank you. So I agree with Trustee Gonzalez's suggestions for the policy committee, the vice president, and the having someone else present at the setting of the agenda. And I do think that we need to meet again. I don't think we necessarily need, a moderator for us to sit down and set our policies together. We can reach a consensus without that. And I think it might be a more efficient use of our time. So I think we should have another session to review our policies and set them as a board. And I mean, July sounds great. So
thank you so much for your comments. I agree with all of them. And actually, I was thinking to invite both of you, Melissa and Gonzalez, or even whoever wants to join on the agenda setting meeting. But because of the COVID and other things, I was not able to do that. Just for the transparency purposes, we do meet me and Superintendent Thompson Thursday before our board meeting at 11 o'clock. So you can check your calendars, and if you are available, we can set up who would like to participate and come with us. Because it's through Zoom now. We used to meet in person before. So just make your schedule available, then we will work it out.
You can only take one at a time.
Yes, it's because of the Brown Act, so we can only take another board member at a time. Also, since we are discussing or sharing our thoughts about making another committee, policy committee, I would also like to gauge your interest, who would like to serve on that committee. I mean, we are not taking any action, it's just the information purposes only. You can share your interest right now, and then we can figure it out later on. So I see one hand.
Mr. Gonzalez.
Careful what you ask for.
Yeah, so
what was your suggestion, Trustee Gonzalez? I hope you raise your hand.
Right. No, actually,
make that enthusiastic hand.
Yes. Okay, so in the next board meeting, maybe we can bring an action, and then I'm glad that we have that interest, and board members, they are so enthusiastic to improve our processes. Thank you. I appreciate that. See, change is good. And then, so no further comments. I don't see any interest.
Can I just, can I do a quick recap?
Sure. So I forgot, I should have given you a chance.
No, that's okay. I just want to make sure we're moving forward together here on this one. So what I'm hearing is that we should schedule a study session and that we'll do the next one without, we'll just come together and review the lab report and kind of go over it. And it sounds like July would probably be a time where that might work. All right, so we've got that. The templates are something I'm already working on, so we can bring those, and I'll bring those to either as we're moving forward and then all together at that meeting. We're going to put an action item on the next board agenda to form the policy committee and select members. We don't need any kind of action item to invite somebody to, I think it's usually the clerk, but it doesn't matter. We can do it on a rotating basis. We'll start that. When Lori and I send out the invitation, we'll invite board members and whoever can, whoever, and then we'll rotate it based on that. That's easy to do. Adding a vice president, I think that's something that might require a formal action. I have to look at that. And so that's something, it's not in our, we'd have to modify our bylaws and policies. I don't think our board policy allows for that now. So that might require a policy.
Correct. That's correct.
So,
it does not allow. I have pushed it before.
This might be something. Hey,
this is the time now. I think maybe
This could be one of the first policies reviewed by the policy committee. There we go.
Right.
So that one's going to have to wait. We're going to have to do that the right way. We have to be consistent with our policies. But I think I've got that. I know what we need to do from there. Anything else that I'm missing?
No, I do see your hand up. So are you done?
There we go. Okay, thank you, everybody.
That's it. Thank you. So next is agenda item number 9.3, revised board policy number BB9270, conflict of interest. This is first reading. And I'm wondering if any board member, they have any question, comment, or anything. Policy peruse. This is the first reading, so it's just for information only. So we're not taking any action. Next, I don't see any raised hand. Next is agenda item number 4, item from the board and superintendent. So this time I'm gonna ask our superintendent Thompson to start first.
Wow, all right. Well, I thought it'd be a good time to just give it kind of an update of what's going on right now in our schools, kind of what our end of the year plan is shaping up to look like, what summer looks like, and we'll go from there. I'd like to start though by thanking Mr. Lamb and everybody else, Sherry, and I know Nancy George also played a role in helping develop the reorganization proposal and also the mental health proposal under the guidance of Mr. Pisani. So thank you all for that, and board, thank you for your support. Even though we really don't know where we're going to end up with the mental health side of things in the future, I feel pretty good about where we're heading for next year. So thank you for that. I also feel pretty good about what's happening in our schools right now. I mean, one of the things that I'm trying to highlight in our social media is some of the great things that are happening. And for example, we have new programs opening every day for students to be on campus, art activities, sports activities, music activities, you name it. And we have quite a few teachers that are back on a voluntary basis teaching students in person, piloting new instructional strategies, simultaneous instruction, all kinds of things. And every day, more and more of those are coming online, are instructional learning hubs or pods. There's students on campus every day at all of our sites. So that while we're not officially open, if you take a look at some of the reopening plans that are out there, where you hear districts saying, well, we're reopening on a voluntary basis. You know what, folks, we've been doing that for weeks already. And that's exactly what's happening here. We're just not calling that, an official reopening, but there's a lot going on and I'm pretty excited about that. I will be trying to set up a time in May where the board, if you would like, we can go and visit some of the different things that are happening at our sites. You can go look at a learning pod. I'm hopeful that the teachers that are modeling some of the simultaneous instruction won't mind us poking our heads in there. And they're taking a pretty big risk, and they're doing a great job. So and then we'll try to set that up at the beginning of May once we get all of our programs that are going up and running. So let's see, there's that. End of the year, we are definitely the looking at ways that we can improve things. Open house, for example, at the elementary and middle school level, we decided not to do it the normal way. It's moved into May, and it's going to be more of a celebration of what we've done this year and a celebration of this year ending, and moving forward, as opposed to the normal, here's, going through 5 periods in the middle, 6 periods in the middle school, that kind of thing. So each site has been developing their own plan to create that kind of celebration, and that's all coming up. Again, if there's an opportunity, it's all unfortunately virtual. So if there are opportunities for board members to come in and check things out, we will definitely provide that as well. The big event, the Logan graduation, we are right now on track to have an in-person graduation, kids walking across the stage for whatever Logan student wants to do that. Board members, you're going to be on stage, on Saturday morning. Hold that Saturday after school lets out. I think it's the 29th of it's a 3-day weekend there, the Memorial weekend, but that is the plan. And Principal Polk and his team over there have been doing a good job of working within the county guidelines and trying to create this. More to come on that. All of our other schools are working on an end of the year activity. They've all done things a little bit differently. So, the idea being where we can bring people back for something meaningful in person, we're going to shoot for that. There's a lot of, it gets a little strange when you get into things like proms or those in-person gatherings. Those are really, really difficult to pull off in person. And the county, quite frankly, the guidelines around it are really confusing. We've basically been taking proposals when we get them and just giving them to our legal counsel, because you need to be a lawyer to figure out what applies where and to figure things out. But we're working on those, and as they get worked through and worked out, we will provide more information on that as well. But all of that's happening. Summer's taken off. Last I checked, it was well over 800 element. Oh, Mr. Pisani, do you want to give an update on that? As of this morning at the elementary level, we had 1,048 students interested in enrolling in summer school. Wow. Do you have any current figures on middle or high? Recall that we opened up the application for elementary prior to spring break. So middle and high, we literally just opened up the application process last week as we returned. And so their numbers are disparately lower at this point, but they have more time to enroll students than the elementary. So they're further along at the elementary level at this time than the middle and high school. Wow. Well, I mean, that's a lot of kids. We planned on having 2 to 3 schools open, and it looks like we'll be opening all of that. Now, one of the problems and I've said all along, the only limiting factor we're going to have is really the kids that are signing up and the staff that we hire. And we are anticipating a shortage of teachers. So later on in the agenda, we have a proposal for the board to consider to increase the hourly rate and provide a bonus for those that want to stick with us and complete the program. I think we're ahead of other districts. Most districts aren't this far along in summer school planning. And we want to make sure that we're attracting, because I think we're going to exceed the capacity we have in-house to hire for summer school. And that means we're going to need to attract teachers from other districts. And we want to be able to do that. One good way to do that is to provide better compensation. So I think this will go a long way to do that. And we're going to be using this will be the federal funds, or a combination of the state and federal one-time dollars to fund it. So it's not going to impact our general fund this way. Anyway, that's coming up later on. And again, next year, we have a superintendent's meeting tomorrow, and we're putting out one of the things we're going to talk about is what the plans are, from other districts. But I don't know of any district in Alameda County right now that is planning on doing anything but a full reopening in the fall. And that's where we're planning for that as well. So that's the update. Thanks again to Marcus and Scott and your team for your great work so far.
Thank you, Dr. Thompson, that was a lot of good information, and I'm glad. So I do see hands up from fellow trustee Linda Candace, you number 1.
Yes, that was a great report. It's really exciting to hear what's going on because a lot of people are asking what we're doing at New Haven. Even though we didn't formally say that we have reopened, we are doing so many things at New Haven right now. And I think even the pods that are happening, people don't even know about that. It is just so exciting to have them. And also, I am putting May 29th in my calendar. I will definitely be there for the graduation. That's something I've been bugging you about, and I'm glad that it is happening. And I'm sure the seniors are just besides themselves in hearing that that is actually will be happening. And of course, summer school, that's exciting news, Mr. Paisani, regarding the number of students who have signed up. Let's hope that we will have enough teachers with the incentive that we are putting out there that will come to help us. I would like to, again, thank Nancy George for all the work she's done and would like to welcome her to the retirement club. You're going to be busier than work. You watch and see. It's just really interesting. People think that when you retire, you just rest and do nothing. Actually, you're going to be more tired because you will be packing your schedule with all sorts of wonderful things. Again, I want to repeat my thanks to Mr. Lamb and Ms. Benefield regarding the mental health presentation, because that is really something I really feel is so important for our kids. And if at some point after this year, when we don't have that one-time money, if we could continue that, let's make that a priority. I would like to also thank the New Haven Foundation for the work they've done and creating the scholarships awards for our students and our teachers. My family has 4 scholarships for the students. 6 scholarships. 4 of them are because of my brother's untimely passing away in January of this year. It's the STEM, Edgardo Canlas Memorial STEM Engineering Scholarship. And 2 of those 4 actually came from the community. Instead of sending flowers, they sent funds so that kids could use those for higher education. So I would like to congratulate the following students who got the STEM scholarship: Richard Ochoa, Saralyn Hui, Subania Ali, Andrea Nicole Carlos. Then we have the other 2 are the leadership scholarships, and that went to Kalani Seymour, and the community service scholarship to Zinat Gardezi. And I hope this small scholarship will help students have a good start in their new adventure in life and college life. I'd like to again thank the foundation. They awarded about 182,500 funds to the students, 133 students receiving them, and about 87 scholarships. So thank you so much to our New Haven Foundation, and congratulations to all the scholarship awardees. Thank you.
Thank you. Next in line is Trustee Melissa Shana-Miller.
Thank you. Sorry, my dogs are barking.
Again?
It seems like every time it's my turn to speak, someone walks their dog by my house. Whoever is in the community, please avoid my house during board meetings. I appreciate it. So I would like to report back that I have completed session 3 in the Masters in Governance training. So that's going well, and I'm learning a lot as a new board member. And it definitely would also like to thank Dr. Thompson for your report back. I'm very excited, about all of the activities that are happening at our schools and about having an in-person graduation. I think it'll be my first in-person event as a board member. So I'm very excited about it. And I have put that on my calendar. And just want to wish the seniors that are graduating congratulations ahead of time. I wanted to take some time to recognize where we are today in history. If for anybody who doesn't know, the verdict in the Chauvin trial, which was the person who murdered George Floyd, happened today, and he was found guilty on all accounts. And I wanted to take time to talk about this. This is accountability, not necessarily justice. Justice would be if George Floyd was still alive to be with his family today. Justice is going to take a lot more work and systematic change in our society and in our criminal justice system and in our policing systems. And I just want to make sure and admonish everyone who's listening that we don't think that it's done, that this is going to change everything, that we've magically solved all of our issues. Just today, a young woman was killed in Columbus, Ohio by police. So it's not going away magically because of this verdict. So we want to make sure that we all do the hard work that we need to do to address white supremacy and racism in our society and to ensure that these killings will stop. And I hope that this will encourage, more district attorneys and attorney generals to make sure that, the bad actors out there are being held accountable. I don't know if there's a way for us to do this, but I hope that we can adjourn tonight in memory of George Floyd.
We can. Thank you for pointing this out. Thank you for bringing it up. Thank you for your comments, Trustee Melissa, Shu, and Mallory. Next in line is Trustee Lance Nishihira. Go ahead, please.
Okay, kind of building on what Trustee Mallory had mentioned with the Chauvin verdict, there's another item. We have the Asian hate resolution coming to the board. I'm very proud to support that. I also do want to acknowledge, where we are with regard to gun violence. The mass shooting recently in Indianapolis took lives unnecessarily. It is so pointless. This is very important to understand the need for mental health supports, and also to acknowledge the fact that majority of the victims, or not a majority, a substantial number of the victims were of the Sikh community. And I just wanted to state for the record that I stand in solidarity with them during this terrible time. Switching gears, it is an exciting time of the year. It's exciting because of all of the things that Trustee Canlis mentioned. Our students are finding out what colleges they got into. My daughter, Jenna, will be transferring from Maloney. She was accepted to UC Irvine, UC Riverside, but she will likely be attending UC Davis in the fall. And I'm very, very proud of her. I just wanted to kind of call that out. I'd also like to say, congratulate Mr. Mr. Kalani Seymour, who was accepted to several colleges. He thought that there were some reach schools out there, but he got into, he decided to go to UCLA. It's a fantastic opportunity. I'm very, very proud to call him a friend. And then lastly, I'll mention that I'd like to congratulate Alejandra Lopez Jimenez for winning the Christine Rico Nishihira Puente Scholarship that will be that my family sponsors. So with that, I don't have anything else to report, but I appreciate the board's time and attention.
Thank you for your comments, Trustee Lance Nishihira. Next in line is Trustee Michael Gonzalez.
Yes, one thing I do is I'm critical of ourselves, how we can do better. But I got to commend our district. We are light years ahead of some of the other districts. I personally am in class at a neighboring district, and we're trying to hemorrhage a makeshift plan put together going back. After school, we're wasting our energy on that when New Haven Unified is putting together like real robust summer school program, returning back to school in fall. But this I've already talked to Dr. Thomas about this, but this is amazing as far as the work that would the mental and emotional health support proposal. What's on here is stuff that I want in my own classroom, that I want to go to these trainings. I want to bring it to my district. And so I just want to commend us on this. So great job on that. Some of my neighbors were excited. They got their children in pods. So there's great things happening in our district. So I just want to recognize and praise ourselves. I know I don't do that enough. So thank you for that. One thing I do want to piggyback on Trustee Schwinn Mallory and Trustee Nishihara is that during the I know we talked about George Floyd, but during the Shaman trial, there was one person who was killed again by the hands of police. And so that I'm going to say his name, Daunte Wright. Okay, he needs to be mentioned. Another father, son, and friend murdered by the hands of police. So there's just too much death out there, too much pain going out there, not only in the Black community, but all around. And so we have some resolutions tonight that kind of address that. And I want to ask, point of information, is this a proper time to ask about having our staff look into something right now? I know I talked with Dr. Thomas. Is this the ask time?
You can share your thoughts, then we can figure it out later on.
Okay.
Yeah.
So one thing I did talk about with Dr. Thomas is that there is when one community is being pushed out, we need to follow up with our own policy to see check the data, and there should be a study on this if this is true. And so this is the Dakota community feeling pushed out, feeling that they're not getting their fair share. They're overrepresented in special education, suspension, expulsions. So we need to look into if this is true out there. Are they in AP classes, tested for gifted, are on that track to college bound? And so we need to break the school to prison pipeline. And so first starts with our own policy, looking at that, and then following up with the data. So I'd like staff to actually look into that. And that's it. That concludes my comment.
Thank you, Trustee Michael Gonzalez. Thank you for bringing all of those points. I see your hand, and I see Trustee Melissa Mallory's hand too. Yeah, this is your time. You can bring up anything. We are not taking any action, but you can share your thoughts for future actions, and for the staff, we can discuss it later. But it's your time, definitely, to share what you feel like we, as board members, should be doing, or as our district should be, following such direction. And another thing you mentioned that, we are providing all those professional development to our staff and teaching mental health reasons. Being a school board member, I believe I have always requested to Dr. Thompson that, include the board members in as many sessions if they are available to participate. So we need to spread the positivity. You can share your thoughts, those experiences somewhere in your school district maybe. So if you're available and you can work with Dr. Thompson, if you want to attend some of those sessions for mental health, I think it should not be a problem. So with that, I do see Trustee Linda Canlis' hand again. Go ahead, please.
Yeah, I just want to add that tomorrow at 6:30 at the Old Alvarado Park, there is that vigil sponsored by the Sikh Alliance, and you're welcome to support it.
Thank you. I was going to share that actually. So yeah, with all that gun violence we have been seeing, the hate and everything. So local Sikh community are hosting a vigil, and 6:30 at Old Alvarado Park. So all of you guys are invited. Audience also are invited, whoever can make and come. This is the only way we can build the communities, and knowing or participating together, coming together, standing together. Thank you, Linda Canlis, Trustee Canlis, for remembering that. Next is Trustee Melissa Schoen-Mallory. Your time, Trustee.
Sorry, I was trying to get to the mute button. It was not cooperating. I was going to mention the candlelight vigil as well. And so at this point, I'll just express my solidarity with the Sikh community. And of course, I'm very excited to support our resolution against anti-Asian and Pacific Islander hate. So that's it.
Thank you, all of you who have shared this information. Actually, I was assigned this duty to invite my fellow board members for tomorrow. So staff and any of you, if you are available, please do come. And now next agenda item is board committee reports. 10.1 report from the Budget and Finance Committee. Member Canlis, would you like to say something? We do not meet, so there's no information.
Right.
Go ahead.
There was no meeting. The next meeting will not be until May, so there's nothing to report. And Ms. Heldman already did a good job of reporting where we are right now. Thank you.
Yes, thank you. Next is a report from the Communication and Advocacy Committee. Member Nishira and Member Schoen-Mallory.
Member Mallory, would you like to go or would you like me to go?
I'm sure we will both go, but I can go first this time.
Okay.
So at the oh goodness, it's this meeting we are approving a the Communications Advocacy Committee met together and we selected a vendor to go forward with our rebranding process. And so you'll see in item 11.15 an approval for Spark Inbound Marketing contract for rebranding, and that is the vendor that we chose unanimously. It was pretty much unanimous across the board that they were the best fit for our needs. And so we would ask that you approve it. And we are set to meet this Thursday, I believe, for our next meeting at 4:30, Thursday, the 22nd. Yeah. And Trustee Nishihara, you have anything to add?
You hit all the high points. So thank you for that. I will just talk a little bit about the process and rigor that we went through, just very, very quickly. So we actually had 3 different vendors come out. And as Member Mallory mentioned, there is one clear choice here. We created a rubric to evaluate all 3 of the contenders with scoring. The key areas of the key criteria that we used were the breadth of services offered, their ability to work within our process. There was also just the overall quality of the work. We just looked at their portfolio and looked at the quality, and that actually was weighted pretty heavy. Their ability to work in a wide range of technological platforms, and then finally cost. We took all those, and each individual each individual committee member ranked on those different criteria. And the way that we did is it was actually a relatively short deliberation meeting, because we just said, hey, everybody kind of share your scores and your ordering, and it came pretty much consistent across the board. And so as Member Mallory said, the recommendation was unanimous. The superintendent performed reference checks, and they came back very impressive. So with that, our hope is that the board adopts the subcommittee's recommendation. So, that's all I had for communication and advocacy. And of course, we're meeting this Thursday.
Yeah, thank you so much for your update. And I know we say action item later on in 11.15. I was looking for the timeline for that organization to produce their results. So I didn't see that. Maybe you guys can work it out later on. Mm-hmm. I asked Dr. Thompson as well. So how long will it take for them to have the final product, and we will be able to see that? But somehow maybe I missed it, but I didn't find it. And that's the only comment I have about that recommendation. Okay. So this is information item. So next is action item agenda agenda item number 11.1, resolution number 041.
Point of order.
Wait,
I'm sorry.
sorry.
Oh, there's a 10.3 other.
10.3.
So is there any other update from other committees other than these mentioned in 10.1 and 10.2? I see trustee Michael, Linda Canlis is first. Trustee Linda Canlis first.
Trustee Gonzalez could go. I'll go after.
Because you raised your hand, right? Yeah, thank you. Thank you, trustee Canlis.
You're welcome.
Thank you so much. No, I just want to report back. What wasn't on here was our SELPA meeting, regional meeting. I want to give a report on that. It happened March 23rd. It was my first SELPA meeting. So this is the Mission Valley SELPA regional meeting. And so just a couple quick highlights on here. We have somebody who was helping us out, our own, again, I'm going to brag and boast about our best here. We have Director Kapler, did an amazing job. And so she's very impressive. And so one of the highlights, and I'm going to brag on it, she's not going to mention it. But as far as New Haven Unified School District has been assessing our special education students since June. And as a result, we have the fewest with late IEPs. So the other districts are struggling, but us, we're on the ball when it comes to that. And so a lot of it has to do with our IEP teams. And so that consists, of our general ed teachers, special ed teachers, paraprofessionals, and our administration, and of course our own director, Kapler. So I'll give props to that. And then also we're working on, and if Dr. Thompson, if you can help me out with these acronyms, the work we are doing, there's so many here, and I have it written down somewhere. The work we're doing with our CCEIP and the SEP, special ed, our plans have been accepted by the CDE, and we are excited to start that work. And just on a personal note, as a general ed classroom teacher, I just completed last month 2 IEPs, and usually they're positive, connecting with parents, connecting with the IEP team, wanting the best for their children, looking at how we met the goals and the new goals, meeting the needs. But this year was the worst in my career, and it not because with the goals and all that. It wasn't. It was because it was virtual, and so I just want to empathize with the whole IEP teams that have to go and do it in Zoom. And there's such a disconnect there, and the interaction is just not there. It just it's horrible. It's really difficult. And so just my heart goes out to the IEP teams, the whole teams, the parents and the students. I commend you for pushing and making it happen. So I just want to thank you on that note. That concludes my report.
Thank you, Trustee Gonzalez. This is very important. I apologize for skipping this item completely somehow. And I also appreciate that you have taken this responsibility. It's like meeting is in the middle of the day, and it was difficult for some other members. Appreciate your work and your report, and it's a positive report. Thank you. So, Trustee Linda Canlis.
Yes, I want to, first of all, THANK, Mr. Trustee Gonzalez. More acronym for you. All right. I'd like to invite everyone to our next AXPA meeting on April 29th at 6 o'clock via Zoom. We sent the link to you via email, and the topic for that night is Pathway to College. It's we have all the community college presidents doing a presentation, and we're inviting superintendent as well, because there will be a Q&A at the end regarding how we could collaborate in improving our communication between K-12 and the community colleges, so that students don't struggle when they go to the community colleges. So you're invited. Your board members have the link. If you need it, I will send it to you as well if you don't have it yet. Thank you so much. I hope somebody else aside from me shows up to the meeting. Thank you.
With so many meetings virtually, especially, we are so tempted to participate here and there. Sometimes I do get my schedule calendar overbooked. Thank you for the update, and Trustee Lance Nishira.
Okay, well, member Canlis already stole a majority of my thunder for the New Haven Schools Foundation. But no problem. What I didn't hear was that the scholarship luncheon will be May 19th from 11:30 to 1:30. It's going to be virtual this year. That was the only thing that she didn't mention. So
I'm so sorry.
That's okay, no problem. It's good to have it's double coverage. And but yeah, that was it. That's all I had. That's all I wanted to add.
Thank you. I appreciate the whole team that, if somebody forgets, then some other member covers it. So team right there. Thank you. And now we are on action items, agenda item number 11. And now first one is a resolution 11.1, resolution number 0412021, recognition of certificated employee appreciation week. I would like one of the board members to volunteer to read the resolution. I see Trustee Lance Nishira's hand. Go ahead, please. Thank you.
Okay. New Haven Unified School District Resolution 041-2021, Certificated Employee Appreciation Week, May 3rd, 2021 through May 7th, 2021. Whereas the New Haven Unified School District Board of Education recognizes the outstanding professional excellence of the district's teachers and other certificated staff members, as well as their continuing commitment to quality education, and whereas the New Haven Unified School District commends our teachers and other certificated employees for their many accomplishments in providing guidance, support, and encouragement to our students, and whereas the Parent Teachers Association recognizes May 3rd through the 7th as Teacher Appreciation Week, and whereas the California Teachers Association recognizes May 3rd through 7th as Teacher Appreciation Week, and May 13th as California Day of the Teacher, and whereas school nurses and our certificated employees, and May 6th through 12th is recognized as National Nurses Week, and whereas teachers mold the minds and train the workforce of the future, and whereas certificated employees such as school nurses and school psychologists help ensure that the physical and socio-emotional needs of our students are being met, and whereas the certificated employees of the New Haven Unified School District have gone above and beyond the call of duty in developing and providing virtual learning and support for our students during the continuance of the 2020 COVID-19 pandemic. Now, therefore be it resolved that the New Haven Unified School District Board of Education hereby recognizes California Teacher Appreciation Week, the California Day of the Teacher, National Nurses Week, and designates May 3rd through May 7th as the New Haven Unified School District Certificated Employee Appreciation Week. Passed and adopted this 20th day of April 2021.
Thank you, Trustee Lance Nishira, for reading the resolution. We missed the in-person, some of the interactions. I do remember we used to have from the Punjabi Club, Punjabi Language Club, a teacher appreciation luncheon. But we can do so. May I have a motion and a second to adopt resolution number 042-2021, recognition of our Certificated Employee Appreciation Week.
So moved. Second.
Thank you. Roll call, please.
Canlis,
Aye.
Gonzalez,
Aye.
Nishihira,
Aye.
Swen Mallory,
Aye.
Chima.
Aye. Thank you. Agenda item number 11.2, I was reading ahead of time myself. So resolution number 042-2021, recognition of classified employees appreciation week. I would like to read it myself because I have the plan for the other resolutions for you guys. New Haven Unified School District resolution number 042-2021, classified employee appreciation week, May 17, 2021 to May 21, 2021. Whereas classified school employees provide valuable services to students, families, and fellow staff members to support the schools of the New Haven Unified School District. And whereas the California Legislature and California Department of Education recognizes May 17 through 21st as Classified School Employees Week. And whereas the California School Employees Association recognizes May 17 through May 21st as Classified School Employees Week. And whereas classified school employees play a vital role in providing for student welfare and school safety of New Haven Unified School District students. And whereas classified school employees employed by the New Haven Unified School District have achieved excellence in all areas of their responsibility. And whereas classified school employees deserve rightful recognition and public celebration for the caring deeds and immeasurable contributions they have made to the New Haven Unified School District. And whereas the classified employees of New Haven Unified School District have gone above and beyond the call of duty in supporting our students, families, and staff members during the continuance of the 2020 COVID-19 pandemic. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the New Haven Unified School District Board of Education hereby recognizes Classified School Employees Week as designated by CSEA and the state, and designates May 17th through May 21st as the New Haven Unified School District Classified School Employees Week, passed and adopted this 20th day of April 2021 by the following roll call vote. Thank you. May I have a motion and a second to adopt resolution number 042-2021, recognition of classified employees appreciation week?
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion, comment, or seeing none, roll call please.
Hanless,
Aye.
Gonzalez,
Aye.
Nishihira,
Aye.
Swen Mallory,
Aye.
Chima.
Aye. Agenda item number 11.3. We have a resolution number 033-2021, 2021 in support of Asian Americans and Pacific Islanders. May I assign this reading assignment to Trustee Linda Callis?
Sure.
Thank you.
The New Haven Unified School District Board of Education Resolution number 033-2021 in support of the Asian American and Pacific Islander. Whereas Asian Americans and Pacific Islanders account for 30% of our New Haven Unified School District students, and whereas Asian Americans and Pacific Islander communities are immensely diverse, consisting of multiple ethnicities, hundreds of languages and dialects, wide-ranging socioeconomic characteristics, and distinct immigration patterns. And whereas Asian American Californians account for approximately 1/3 of the nation's Asian population, and whereas 23 million Asian Americans and Pacific Islanders are all vulnerable to the growing number of xenophobia-fueled attacks, and whereas Asian Americans and Pacific Islanders contribute greatly to our schools and community, and whereas over 2 million Asian Americans and Pacific Islanders are working on the front lines of this COVID-19 pandemic in education, healthcare, law enforcement, first responders, transportation, supermarkets, and other service industries, and whereas the increased use of the anti-Asian rhetoric has resulted in Asian Americans being harassed, assaulted, and scapegoated for the COVID-19 pandemic. And whereas since January 2020, there has been a dramatic increase in reports of hate crimes and incidents against those of Asian descent. Therefore, be it resolved that the New Haven Unified School District denounces and condemns anti-Asian sentiment in any form. Be it further resolved that the New Haven Unified School District condemns all manifestation of expressions of racism, xenophobia, discrimination, anti-Asian sentiment, scapegoating, and ethnic or religious intolerance. Passed and adopted by the Governing Board of Education of the New Haven Unified School District, County of Alameda, this 20th of April, 2021.
Thank you, Trustee Canlis, for reading the resolution.
You're welcome.
May I have a motion and a second to adopt resolution number 033-2021 in support of Asian Americans and Pacific Islanders?
So
moved. Second.
Thank you. Any comment, discussion? Seeing none, roll call, please.
Canlis,
Aye.
Gonzalez,
Aye.
Nishihira,
Aye.
Swen Mallory,
Aye.
Chima.
Aye. Agenda item number 11.4, resolution number 043-2021, an inclusive redistricting process for Alameda County in 2021. May I ask Trustee Melissa Swen Mallory to read this resolution? And thank you for bringing this resolution for the board to approve.
Yes, thank you. Okay, so the New Haven Unified School District Board of Education Resolution number 043-2021, an inclusive redistricting process for Alameda County in 2021. Whereas the boundaries of 5 Alameda County supervisorial districts must be redrawn in 2021, and whereas the final maps approved in 2021 will be in place for the next 10 years, and in the past, there have been a few requirements that redistricting be fair, transparent, and engage marginalized communities. And whereas the supervisorial districts affect families living in Union City and students attending the schools in the New Haven Unified School District. And whereas the New Haven Unified School District recently engaged in a redistricting process to ensure the school board trustee areas accurately reflect our community. And whereas robust, safe, and inclusive community engagement to develop proposed district maps requires time and resources to ensure digital access, diverse schedules, translation services, meeting schedule notice, and other requirements. And whereas the time frame to draw these maps will be compressed due to national issues and the impact of the pandemic on local communities. And whereas undergoing a robust, transparent, and inclusive redistricting process similar to the one used by the New Haven Unified School District will help ensure that parents of our school district, residents of Union City, and residents of Alameda County will have fair representation on the Alameda County Board of Supervisors. Therefore, be it resolved that the New Haven Unified School District urges the Alameda County Board of Supervisors to allocate adequate resources and direct the creation of policies to ensure an equitable, inclusive, and transparent redistricting process. Passed and adopted by the Governing Board of Education of the New Haven Unified School District, County of Alameda, this 20th of April, 2021.
Thank you. May I have a motion and a second to adopt resolution number 043 dash 2021 in support of an inclusive redistricting process for Alameda County in 2021.
So moved.
Second.
Thank you. I don't see any comments. Roll call, please.
Canlis,
Aye.
Gonzalez,
Aye.
Nishihira,
Aye.
Swen Mallory,
Aye.
Chima.
Aye. I do miss our students, sometimes they do read some of the resolutions. Next is agenda item number 11.5, and this is in recognition of Dolores Huerta Day, resolution number 044 2021. May I ask Trustee Michael Gonzalez to read the resolution, please?
Sure.
Thank you.
The New Haven Unified School District Board of Education Resolution Number 044-2021 in recognition of Dolores Huerta Day. Whereas on July 18, 2018, Assembly Bill 2644 was signed into law designating and setting apart April 10th of each year as Dolores Huerta Day. And whereas Assembly Bill 2644 added Section 37-222.20 to the Education Code, stating that on Dolores Huerta Day, all public schools and education institutions are encouraged to conduct exercises remembering the life of Dolores Huerta, recognizing her accomplishments and familiarizing pupils with the contributions she made to the state of California. And whereas Dolores Huerta is the most prominent Mexican-American female labor leader in the United States, is the co-founder with Cesar Chavez of the United Farm Workers of America. And whereas in 2002, Dolores Huerta founded the Dolores Huerta Foundation, which recruits and empowers grassroots leaders in low-income communities to attain social justice by organizing volunteer organizations called Vecinos Unidos, United Neighborhoods, to work on issues in education, health, the environment, civic engagement, and economic development. And whereas members of society will benefit from having the opportunity to learn about this leader for social justice and civil rights, empowering them to fight for fair representation, voting rights, and equitable education. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the governing board of the New Haven Unified School District supports Dolores Huerta Day and encourages all New Haven schools to conduct exercises remembering the life of Dolores Huerta, recognizing her accomplishments and familiarizing pupils with the contributions she made to the state of California.
Thank you, Trustee Michael Gonzalez, for helping to craft this resolution and reading it today, sharing it with the community. May I have a motion and a second to adopt resolution number 044-2021 in recognition of Dolores Huerta Day?
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion or comment? I don't see any. So I have met actually Dolores Huerta in person many times, and I'm very, very impressed. I'm glad that Trustee Michael Gonzalez has brought this resolution for our information and education. So roll call, please.
Canlis.
Aye.
Gonzalez.
Aye.
Nishihira.
Aye.
Swen Mallory.
Aye.
Chima.
Aye. Thank you. Agenda item number 11.6, proposed calendar of regular board meetings for 2021 to 2022. I'm sure board members have seen this new schedule. May I have a motion and second to approve the proposed calendar of regular board meetings for 2021 to 2022?
So moved.
Second.
Seeing no hands for comments or questions. You have one. Okay, thank you. Go ahead, Trustee Melissa Shen-Mallory.
Yes. On this schedule, it says that all of our meetings will be starting at 6:00 p.m. for open session. But on the previous schedule for 2020-2021 school year, it said that in-person sessions will begin at 6:30 p.m. and virtual sessions will begin at 6 p.m. And I would like to apply that to this schedule because I will have to be driving home from work at some point and making it to the meeting on time. So I would ask that if we're meeting in person, that we meet half an hour later to accommodate traffic.
And Dr. Thompson, do you have any thing to say?
No, I mean, this is a board decision. 6:30 is fine. We can amend the recommendation and go back to 6:30.
So that means we need to bring it back to the agenda again?
No, I think you can just amend the agenda. You can amend
Right
the.
now. Okay, amend the time. Yeah, amend the time.
So we can, I guess we would need to amend the.
The motion.
Who made the motion?
Linda.
Just state the motion with the start times included in the motion, like the motion to
Right.
approve the calendar of the start time of
6:30.
6:30.
Board meetings.
Yeah.
Okay, may I have a motion and a second to approve the proposed calendar of regular board meetings for 2021 to 2022 with the amendment of starting time with 6:30?
So
May I have
moved.
motion?
So moved.
Second.
Okay. I don't see any hands up, so a roll call, please.
Canlis,
Aye.
Gonzalez,
Aye.
Nishihira,
Aye.
Swen Mallory,
Aye.
Chima.
Aye. Agenda item number 11.7, approval of contract with Underwood and Rosenblum Incorporated for civil engineering and land surveying services for the potential sale of the green field next to the Conley Caraballo High School. May I have a motion and a second to approve the contract with Underwood and Rosenblum Incorporated for civil engineering and land surveying services for the potential sale of green field next to the Conley Caraballo High School?
So moved.
Second.
Any comment, question, discussion? Seeing none, may I have a roll call, please?
Canlis,
Aye.
Gonzalez,
Aye.
Nishihira,
Aye.
Swen Mallory,
Aye.
Chima.
Aye. 11.7, approval of contract, 11.8, acceptance of 7-Eleven District Advisory Committee report and recommendations. May I have a motion and a second to accept the 7-Eleven District Advisory Committee report and recommendations?
So moved.
Second.
Discussion? Trustee Lance Nishira, go ahead, please.
Yeah, just to confirm, I know that we all know this, but just to confirm, we are just voting to accept the report, not any
Yes.
specific actions related to it. Yep.
Yes, we are just accepting the report. Yeah, thank you for the reminder. Roll call, please.
Canlis,
Aye.
Gonzalez,
Aye.
Nishihira,
Aye.
Swen Mallory,
Aye.
Chima.
Aye. Agenda item number 11.9, approval of memorandum of agreement / rider agreement with Alameda County Office of Education, ACOE, for COVID-19 student testing through master agreement between Alameda County Office of Education and Helix. May I have a motion and a second to approve the MOU / rider agreement with Alameda County Office of Education for COVID-19 student testing through master agreement between Alameda County Office of Education and Helix?
So moved.
Second.
Any comment, question, discussion? Seeing none, roll call, please.
Canlis,
Aye.
Gonzalez,
Aye.
Nishihira,
Aye.
Swen Mallory,
Aye.
Chima.
Aye. Agenda item number 11.10, approval of standard architect agreement with 196 Architects for the relocation of the central kitchen operations to the James Logan High School campus project. So I do see a presentation. If you can, Ms. Heldman, if you can please share more information with us. But I would have, let's go the presentation first, and then I will have the motion, ask for the motion and second.
I'm sorry, Trustee President Chima, what are you asking for exactly?
Obviously, if she can share more information about this whole move, it's a big item.
I think you probably need to make the motion in a second and have discussion. Is that, we're at that part of the agenda
No,
now.
I was asking to just to present the information, whatever here it is, just a short summary of it to Ms. Heldman.
Okay.
Did-
And then you want to give it
Before-
just,
Sure. It's actually an approval of a contract for the architect work that we would need. As mentioned on the item, this is one of the properties that was part of the work of the 7-Eleven committee. And as we work on exploring the feasibility of renting that property and further consolidating our programs to better use our assets, we do need the experts to work on this in terms of scoping the work and the needs as a normal, the architectural services that we would need for it.
Okay, because it's a big agenda item, a big expenditure as well.
So
Yeah,
May
this-
I have,
what, you could talk about it during discussion, but right now we have to put a motion.
it's either way, either you, staff presents us to us, then we can have the motion or we can have the during discussion time. So may I have a motion and a second to approve the standard architect agreement with 19-6 architects for the relocation of the central kitchen operations to James Logan High School campus.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion, comment, questions? Okay, trustee Melissa Shawn Mallory.
I'm reading in this report, and I asked this of Dr. Thompson before, but I don't think I got an answer yet. But it says that the annual revenue by leasing the old kitchen, the property, is going to be $1.25 to $1.50 per square foot. So is that correct that that's annual revenue?
That's actually calculating those numbers would generate the monthly revenue. So you would multiply that by 12. And so that wasn't very clear. I apologize for that. But it
It
is.
seemed a little
No,
low.
we
to
should
me.
we should be generating way more than that. But yeah, that is.
Yeah,
if we multiply
and when
that
I
by
was
12.
looking
it's
at that, I
annual.
was like, we're gonna spend almost $500,000 so we can make $28,000 in 1 year. That makes no
Good
sense.
catch.
Okay, that's more palatable. Thank you.
and I apologize. I meant to get back to you on that, and it slipped off my list of things to follow up on. So I apologize. But yeah, that's a big
No
difference.
problem. I just wanted to make sure clarified that this is
Yeah,
annual.
big difference.
Yeah.
Also, I would like to know that, so do we have all the space and to move at that big operation to James Logan High School?
Well, that is the work that will be done by the architects. We've done some preliminary work in terms of scouting the campus and identifying the most ideal space. And like I said, that is the work of the architects that we are bringing in. Because the needs of a central kitchen operations are unique in some ways, because you're talking about the workflows of a central kitchen, a freezer, because we do operate like an internal store. So we've identified some spaces, but that's not to say it will work perfectly, which is why we deem the services of these experts to help us out with that.
Okay. So seeing no further questions or comments, may I have a roll call, please?
Chambliss,
Aye.
Gonzalez,
Aye.
Nishihira,
Aye.
Schwen Mallory,
Aye.
Chima.
Aye. Agenda item number 11.11, approval of summer school 2021 certificated administrative and classified summer compensation. May I have a motion and a second to approve the summer school 2021 certificated administrative and classified summer compensation?
So moved.
Second.
I do see a hand from, there was one hand, but then it got lowered. So I do see trustee Linda Canlis. Please go ahead.
I think it's exciting that we are providing that $1,000 for teachers classified, administrative, and other certificate stipend if they go through the specified time, because no other district is doing that. So I'm hoping that we can attract the best and all the people who want to work in the summer to come to our district, because not only we're paying the $55 hourly for the certificated, and a very competitive number, we're also adding that 1,000 incentive. So I'm excited about that. Thank you.
Thank you, Trustee Linda Canlis, for saying that. I'm excited as well. So hopefully our summer school will be a model for the for the community in the neighborhood. So I do see Trustee Michael Gonzalez, the hand up. Go ahead, please.
Yeah, I will ask what I asked about the administrators working summer school, the question through the chair to Dr. Thompson. Is this in their collective bargaining unit? Will this be in there, or I know their pay scales on there?
The administrators don't have a collective bargaining agreement. They're not represented.
No, I'm talking about the teacher. So I asked that before. There is a handbook though, which shows the like salary schedule on there.
No, summer is not part
One
of the
time. Okay.
representation. Yeah, that's right.
Okay. Thank you. I asked the same question before. Oh, do I see a hand? Yes. I see a hand from Zamila Williams. Is this a member of the public? Lori, can you please check?
Yes, it's just a member of the public and it's not open.
This is not the time to, yeah, they should have done it with the earlier, maybe this member of the public, they can send their concerns or comments through the email, please. At this time, we will not be opening it for the public comment. Thank you. So we already have a motion and a second, right? Yeah, we were the discussion. Okay, roll call, please.
Canlis.
Aye.
Gonzalez.
Aye.
Nishihira.
Aye.
Swin Mallory.
Aye.
Chima.
Aye. Agenda item number 11.12, approval of agreement with Motive Art LLC, DBA Young Rembrandts for 2021. May I have a motion and a second to approve the agreement with the Motive Art LLC, DBA Young Rembrandts for 2021-2022.
So moved.
Seconded.
Any comment, question? Seeing none, roll call, please.
Canlis.
Aye.
Gonzalez.
Aye.
Nishihira.
Aye.
Swin Mallory.
Aye.
Chima.
Aye. Agenda item number 11.13, approval of contract with AT&T for the wide area network WAN services for 2021-2022. May I have a motion and a second to approve the contract with AT&T for the wide area network WAN services for 2021-2022?
So moved.
Second.
Comment, question, or discussion? I do see hand up from Trustee Lance Nishira. Go ahead, please.
Yeah, quick question. I noticed that this is being funded through general fund. Can you confirm that this is actually not a capital expense? Like this can't come out of any other fund. It's the general fund. It has to hit the general fund.
A great question. And we haven't found a way that we can fund it through other sources such as E-Rate or I don't know if we can fund it out of capital outlay. I'm going to turn it over to Ms. Heldman and put you on the spot here and see if there's any other thoughts to funding this.
My understanding is this is a program provided. It's a service provided.
Okay.
I do see that it's being funded out of AB 86. No, it's not that.
No, it
Which
says general
item?
fund. It says general fund.
Frank Delapo is also here this evening if there are additional.
Oh, I'm sorry, the WAN. I'm sorry, the WAN. Okay. If Frank is online, then sorry about that. I was mixing things up.
All right, let's put Frank on the spot. No, Frank, I don't know if you
Get
have any
on to you,
comments on
Frank.
Yeah, no, I appreciate it. Thank you, board members and executive cabinet. This is purely services, really. This is not an initial purchase. We've had AT&T for many years for these. These are basically telecom circuits, fiber optic circuits. So it's really a service, and there's really no initial capital expense.
Okay, thank you for the clarification.
So even before we were paying it through the general fund?
Yes.
I see. Okay, thank you. Okay. Roll call, please.
Canlis,
Aye.
Gonzalez,
Aye.
Nishihira,
Aye.
Swin Mallory,
Aye.
Chima,
Aye. 11.14, agenda item number, approval of agreement with the Logix Service DBA Amtech Computer Services. May I have a motion and a second to approve the agreement with the Logix Services DBA Amtech Computer Services Incorporated for the purchase of extended warranties for district-wide printers?
So moved.
Seconded.
Any comments, questions? Because it's again, it's from general funds and it's a big expense. So if whoever, it's Scott Frank Delapo, you're still here. So if you can provide some input, thank you.
Sure, definitely. This kind of goes back to, and I'm trying to avoid sharing my screen, but I can. But really, 2016, 2017, we deployed around 900 printers district-wide. I think 790 of them were for the classrooms. And at that time, we purchased them with 5 years of service. And so that 5-year service agreement has expired. This really just continues that service level agreement with Amtech for 2 more years at $52,000 and change per year. And this is really critical because we only have 7 site techs and we have 13 schools and other business offices. When my predecessor chose to do the service on the printers as part of the purchase agreement, it was because we have a low amount of service techs who have a lot of other things on their plate. And being able to triage a problem with the printer and then turn it over to Amtech to replace a part, things like that, has been really, really efficient for us. And this includes parts too, by the way. So I think it's a very valuable service. That service has expired as part of the 5-year agreement. So this does continue for 2 more years. Near the end of that 2 more years too, we do plan on really probably from the bond going and actually talking about printer replacement for the next wave. So this will carry us through the end of the life of these devices.
Thank you for providing us the context. Appreciate that. Roll call, please.
Canlis,
Aye.
Gonzalez,
Aye.
Nishihira,
Aye.
Swin Mallory,
Aye.
Chima.
Aye. Agenda item number 11.15, approval of Spark Inbound Marketing Contract for rebranding. May I have a motion and a second to approve the Spark Inbound Marketing Contract for rebranding?
So moved.
Seconded.
I was gonna say, let me think about this.
Okay, so I know we had 2 of our subcommittee board members, they have presented us the information, but if you have any other question or comment, you have the time right now to ask. Seeing none, roll call, please.
Canlis,
Aye.
Gonzalez,
Aye.
Nishihira,
Aye.
Swin Mallory,
Aye.
Chima.
Aye. Moving on to consent calendar, are there any items that trustees have questions or would like to pull for separate vote? I don't see any hands up, so may I have a motion and a second to approve consent agenda items 12.1 through 12.20. 12.20.
So moved.
So moved. Second.
So because this is a consent agenda item, so there is no discussion again. Roll call, please.
Canlis,
Aye.
Gonzalez,
Aye.
Nishihira,
Aye.
Swin Mallory,
Aye.
Chima.
Aye. Agenda item number 13, discussion and action on items removed from the consent agenda. There is none. And agenda item number 14, governance review, assessment of governance procedures and protocols. Anybody would like to give their suggestions to improve our meetings? I do see a hand up from Trustee Lance Nishihira. Go ahead, please.
Yeah, today it looked like we had a couple different ways of doing the motion, second, discussion, and then the roll call. We did one where we asked staff to present first, and we did one where we did it in discussion. We should probably standardize that and just figure out whatever, we should figure out what the right way is and just kind of do that so that we're not bouncing between two different ways of doing it.
Point taken. Thank you. Trustee Linda Callis.
Yeah, just a question. When we have action items, do we need presentations again when we got the information ahead of time? Or do we just save our questions at the discussion if we have additional questions to the information that we already got ahead of time?
So your point is taken too. We will straighten it out before the next board meeting.
And what is
if you have
the
any suggestions, you can.
What is the answer to the question, though?
If I can help out if you like, President Chima.
Sure.
Yeah, so if we know we have big items like mental health proposal or the reorg, those are items that we would put as a presentation. And President Chima requested this time that we have the action item aligned with it. So my recommendation would be that we have the presentation first, then do a move the item, go on for, and have discussion, move it second, discussion, and go from there. I think that's a good way to do it. If we're in the action part of the agenda, discussion should be after a motion and a second typically. And we normally don't put things in the action item that we think need a separate presentation, but there may be need for clarification, and which is fine. So that's kind of the way it generally is set up. If the board wants to do something different, we could, but
no,
I think that keeps it clean.
That's fine. I just want to make it clear to myself that if we have a presentation, it goes on the presentation area. And then when we get to the action item, we don't do presentation again. We just ask the question during the discussion questions so that we don't do double work.
Right. And we're trying to now keep, because if you take a look at how we have the agenda items, it says actually, it says on the item, I'm scrolling back up to the top, it says recognition, presentation, and/or action.
Or action, yes.
Yeah. So in this case, at President Chima's request, we put the presentation and the action item together under one item for those.
That was my question too. I'm wondering if we should keep those two separate so that actions will be in the action and the presentation in the presentation.
Yeah.
So if board members, they want. Only thing is, I thought, because it's a big presentation, like Dr. Thompson has mentioned, that our memories are still fresh, that we can take the action immediately after that, but if we can keep it in the action item. I don't have any preferences. It's okay, we just tested it this time. So I do see additional hands up. Trustee Michael Gonzalez, if you want to say something.
Yeah, I thought in the past you did a good job. There'll be no motion on this item. It is just a presentation. But I like to be a stickler and always be consistent with, hey, this is not moving any further until we get a motion in a second, and then we can go into the discussion. And if there's a presentation, roll into that. So that's what I recommend, no confusion at all. Just be consistent with it, and everything else will work out. So that's it.
Thank you. Trustee Melissa Shannon-Mallory.
Yes, as far as the having action on items which require presentation, I kind of liked the way it went this time. I think that it's less confusing for members of the public who may be attending our meeting, that we go ahead and vote on the item immediately following the presentation and discussion, instead of having it as a separate action item below. I think also that helps those people get on with their evenings when we're done with the item that they're here to hear about. They don't have to wait until further down the agenda for us to vote. They can just leave after the item that they wanted to hear the vote on. So that's my input regarding that. I also agree with having a consistent motion and second discussion cadence.
Yeah, thank you, Trustee Melissa Shannon-Mallory. Actually, that was the intent, because those were the big items. And that's why we moved, but we can keep it. I don't have it. We can keep it the way it was before. All the actions under one. Okay, Dr. Thompson, you want to say something?
Yeah, because I think that's not what Trustee Mallory said. So can I just ask, do we have consensus to keep, because Trustee Mallory, you're saying keep them together like we have it now. And what you're describing was exactly why President Chima recommended it. So do we have consensus to keep it that way? If we have a presentation with an action item to keep them coupled together, is that if you could just, it doesn't, we can just give me a thumbs up if there's consensus among the board to do that. If not, then I would ask, do we want to bifurcate them and split them like we have in the past? Do we have any thoughts? Because it'll help us, design the agenda next time.
Right. Okay, Trustee Linda Canlis, do you want to say something?
Yeah, for me, I prefer that we are consistent and we keep it clean and we put all the action items in the under action items and presentations under presentations.
Oh, I do see, it seems to me that there is a board's consensus to keep it that way. So if it's not, then you can share it now, but otherwise we will be moving back to the same format, that keeping the actions in under one agenda item and information separately.
Does any other board member have a thought? I think I've got Linda, Trustee Canlis, you're saying keep it separated. Trustee
Yeah,
Mallory,
I think
you're saying
we have board's
together.
consensus to keep it
Do
separate.
we have anybody else want to weigh in? Separate? Separate?
Separate's fine. Separate's fine.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
I think I'm
Yeah.
losing this one.
All right, we'll keep them separate like we have in
It's
the past.
fine.
That's-
It's not losing it. We need to hear everybody. We collaborate.
Yes, yes.
That's
I
fine.
accept the decision of the board.
Right.
Right.
I accept the decision of the board too.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So then next agenda item is board consensus. So 15.1, are there any requests from the board members? I do see Trustee Lance Nishira's hand up.
Yeah, thanks. One of the things that I kind of would like a little bit more information on, and I've heard the nomenclature actually ever since Dr. Thompson got here, and that's around multiple tiers of support, MTSS. I don't think I've ever gotten a primer on what that actually means. I've heard of full wraparound services. I've heard of things like, restorative practices. I've heard of a lot of different things, but I'm not familiar with this concept. And so what I would request is, I could look it up and there's probably some video that explains what it is, but I think more importantly, I'd love it if I understood what New Haven meant when they said multiple tiers of support. And so maybe just a small 7-minute presentation to give me, or maybe the rest of the board, an idea of what you mean when you say that, because I've heard it said a lot, and I think there was an assumption that everybody knew what it meant. I just haven't said anything up until now, but it would be good for me to actually understand what we mean when we say that.
Yeah, if I
Any
can.
other board? Trustee Linda Canlis, yeah, go ahead, please.
I made an assumption. Well, no, I derived this from what I read, which included the RTI, PBIS, and all those support that kids are getting from tier 1 in the classroom all the way to tier 3 when they get specialized services. That's what I'm gathering from the information I got.
Yeah, I think folks who actually spend their lives in education every day probably understand that. I'm not one of those people.
Okay, Ms. Trustee Gonzalez, you and I could talk about PBIS, RTI1. Sorry about that.
So
I would just
Dr. Thompson.
either that, it doesn't have to be a board presentation. It could just be something. It could be a conversation. I just want to make sure that I understand what it means.
So Dr. Thompson.
Yeah, and actually, I think the timing is really appropriate. I know that today at our Leadership Academy, Mr. Bizzani was leading the work with our administrative team to develop our plan. MTSS is a key part of Goal 2. So it really does, it is appropriate to have a more in-depth discussion at the board level about it. Mr. Bizzani, I don't know if you want to add to that, but I think we could come up with something.
Yeah, in response to Trustee Nishihira, again, the timing couldn't be more appropriate. over the course of this year, part of our desired outcome was to really contextualize MTSS for New Haven. And we've been engaging with a variety of stakeholders over the course of the year to develop an MTSS handbook for all parts of our organization. It's still in draft form. There are some revisions that still need to be made. But I think once it is completed, that I think it would contain the information that you're seeking, which is the New Haven context for MTSS.
I would love the executive summary of the handbook.
No problem.
Can I add one more thing, President Chima?
Sure.
Not an acronym.
Yeah, we have plenty of those. Well, at the end of the year, my intention is in June to provide the board with a presentation on a progress report for the goals. Because we are at the end of year one of our strategic plan, so giving a year one capstone summary would be a presentation at one of our June board meetings. I recognize that our staff will be gone at that point, but if you took a look at the board a calendar you just approved, we would be bringing that back for the state of the district in the fall. So you'll get that might be the ideal time to show, to give you that information, because if all goes as I'm planning, we'll have a presentation probably at the first board meeting in June, maybe the second one, about where our progress towards meeting the goals in year one. And MTSS work is a big part of that.
Great. I'm glad to hear that.
Okay, so are we looking for a information item in the next board meeting or in June, or how much is the work?
At the staff's leisure, whenever they see, in my opinion, whenever the team feels it's ready.
Yeah, Dr. Thompson, you have said it like a first or second meeting in June, I believe, right?
Yeah, if we'll take a look and see where we're at. We'll have to do a little internal audit to see where we're at. I would love to be able to do it before our teachers and students go away for the year. Again, knowing that we'll kickstart next year with a State of the District event where we'll be highlighting this, but it'll be, I don't know if we can put it together by the 18th of May. We might be able to, because a lot of this work is really still underway. But it would definitely be at one of the upcoming board meetings, the 18th, the 1st, or the 15th of June. And the sooner the better for me. I just want to make sure it's complete.
Thank you so much. We don't want to put you on the spot, but if you can share any draft information before that, if possible, if you feel like you will need more time to have the kind of fully baked product. So you can share some draft information. It's good to have this information for the general public as well, what we are doing. So it's a good ask. Thank you, Member Nishira, for asking it. So any other requests? I do see a hand up from Trustee Michael Gonzalez.
Yeah, I know we want to end. Trustee Schwinn Mallory brought up a personal how she wants to end with tonight's meeting to adjourn. But I like just ask for a point of personal privilege right now. I just want to recognize my father, patriarch. His birthday is tonight, and my entire family went out for outdoor dining. So I just want to recognize my roommate, my mentor, started from elementary here in Union City and graduated from Logan. He's 74 years old, and that's it.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you for sharing and bringing your personal touch. Appreciate that. So Trustee Lance Nishira.
Yeah, last one, I promise. Do we have any idea when we're going back to the boardroom? Like, what are the things? As much as this whole Zoom thing is all fun and everything, I'd love to get back in the boardroom. Do we have any? What are the things that need to be in place for that to actually happen?
I did ask John that earlier.
We've talked about that a little bit. I'm assuming we're going to be in Zoom world through June, and then we're going to start the new year fresh in person. The executive order that mandates this is still in place. The rules about in-person gatherings are funky and I'm not too sure how we could pull it off. So I'm assuming we're just going to finish the year this way and move forward as such. But things change a lot. If there's an opportunity to mix it up, I'll let you know. But right now, from as far as I know, and I've been told, the executive order that requires this is still in place.
Okay.
So thank you. I have asked that too. But only part is we can get together, then public cannot be in the same room because it'll be big gathering. So how we can separate that? So that's the challenge. Thank you. Now I do see a hand up from trustee Melissa Sean Mallory.
Yes, I just want to request that the resolution we passed tonight on fair redistricting be sent to the Board of Supervisors. Thank you.
Dr. Thompson. Okay, thank you, thank you. So who would like to have the, to say something about the, remember how we said the resolution, I mean the verdict for the George Floyd?
I recommend that we adjourn the meeting in memory of, who was requesting this? Was it?
It was me.
This is the Michael. too?
And
Oh,
you
okay.
wanted to adjourn in the memory of George Floyd? Is that correct? Okay, so we could recommend that we close the adjourn the meeting in the memory of George Floyd.
Thank you. Thank you.